Now let's start adding some walls, actually our foundation walls, and that's illustrated here. We're also going to add one other component, and I'll show you that in the next slide here in this series. These little bump outs to support the steel work that's going to go above. Right now there's a footer in place. We're going to do that last. So let's go ahead and get started with putting these foundation walls in place. I'll go ahead and close the screen off. And we're back to our drawing. And let's go to, actually what I'm going to do is clean house a little bit here. We've got a lot of tabs open, so I'll just close off a few of these. If I can get my mouse over it, there we go. We'll close off that. We'll close off the east elevation, and we'll close off the south elevation. We'll just leave the 3D view and the level view open. And this is where we want to maybe start drawing our foundation walls. So at level 1, so I'm going to go to wall. I'm going to drag down until we can find a foundation wall, foundation 12-inch concrete. You'll notice when it comes up, it says that it wants to draw with the wall center line. We're going to actually change that. It's going to go from level 1 but down 12 feet. We're not going to go down 12 feet. We're only going to go down 4 feet because we just need to meet the frost line. And that's explained a little more in lecture. That's the furthest penetration of freezing soil in our climate. All right, and we're really ready to start drawing, and you'll notice that I started drawing and the warning came up behind me here. Let me see if I can drag this on. None of the creative elements are visible in the floor plan. Level 1, you may want to check your active view. And actually the best way to see what we're drawing here, because it's level 1 going down, it's not going to show up in level 1, is to actually go to the site, because that plan will show everything. And there's that wall showing up that I drew by accident. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. So back again, I'm going to grab the wall tool. We're going down 4 feet. But what we really want is not the exterior center line of it. We want the finished face exterior. And we're actually going to draw the foundation wall so it sticks away from the concrete 2 feet. So I'm going to go ahead and offset this by 2 feet. And I may be ready to start drawing now. So I'm going to just draw my first line. I just clicked and released it on that corner. I'm going to come over to the other corner and click it. I'll do that again, because it's the first line I did, so let me undo that. So I'm offsetting 2 feet from the grid line. I'm going down 4 feet from level 1, finish face exterior. I click on this intersection, click, and then I move over and click. Then I can move down and click. Now I'm going to use the center scroll button and zoom in here. I'm going to come back over to this corner and click. At any time this starts to become a problem for you, the easiest thing to do is just delete it and start over again. I have this on chain, so if your walls aren't chaining or continually drawing, this may not be selected. We'll come up, and this is where we enter the building. I'll click here. I'll click at this corner and come back out to the face. Click, come across here. We're going to dive back one more. We're on really the first floor level, and this is where a little outdoor eating area will be constructed. I'll click here, and then I'll come back up here and click. And now we have a completed foundation. You can hit escape and or modify. And we'll go to the 3D view and we can look at what we've drawn. So now we can see how the relationship of the grid, this is the grid at the first floor level, so it's sitting up above this, but this is the foundation going down. We wouldn't actually put the foundation in first, we'd actually put those footers in, but we actually, in the drawing technique, we add the footers at the end, because it's easy to locate them once we placed our walls where we want them. The next thing we need to do is make these little bump outs for our levels. And let me see if I can show you that again graphically. Let me open up the this file again and go to this drawing here. And you'll notice these little bump outs. These are where the steel columns are going to hit. And so let's go ahead and start drawing those. So now I'm going to go back to that site level. I'm going to grab the wall tool again. We're still going to draw that wall 4 feet deep because it's going to match this wall, but we're no longer going to chain this, and we're going to use the center line of the wall system itself. And I'll zoom up in the corner here and we'll start doing the first one. So I'm going to go to the center of the wall, and you'll notice the center of the grid line. This is why the grid lines are so helpful. I'm going to click and move this down, and we want these to be 2 foot 6 inches, and then I'll just click when we have 2 foot 6. I'm going to go over to the next one. That same wall intersection, grid line intersection, come down 2 foot 6. I'll hold the center scroll button down and move over, pan over, click, down 2 foot 6, click, down 2 foot 6, click, down 2 foot 6, I'm going to do it over here. Oh, 2'6". One here. Oops, back here. 2'6". In the mirror of the back wall. 2'6". Here's a tricky one because it's out there, so I'm going to start back at that center and I'm going to come out this way. But in this case, I'm going to go out, I'll go out 3'6". And if that doesn't snap for you right away, you can always just type in 3'6" and hit enter. So now we have two going on an angle like that. You'll notice how that's catching right on the center there. And then we're just going to complete these off. Another 2'6". Another 2'6". Once again, that angle. So I'm going to catch the center point of the wall, go out on a 45-degree angle. I probably didn't make that clear the last time, so if these weren't lining up, they weren't snapping to 45. I'll draw another one over here. Let me just hit delete just to make sure this is clear for you. We'll grab the wall tool again. Grab the center, and you'll notice how it's saying 45, and then I want to pull back 3'6". So one of the problems with, once you've learned it, you kind of do things way too quickly for people who are learning. So we'll pull this out again at 2'6". And 2'6". And there we go. And I'll go back to that 3D view. I'll click on that tab and we're back to the 3D view. And now we've constructed all of the components we need for the foundation to support our steel and our walls. And in the next video, we'll start with putting some footers in.